Out of the dusty and clustered urban settlements of Mzansi, townships are born, culture is born. We not raised by the invasions of 1652, laws of 1948, and the Act of 1950. Although we are systematic casualties, we remain steadfast and pregnant with ideas, visions, and the urge to exceed the wider gates that lead to destruction. It's 2023. Classified culture is born. We are delighted to serve you.
Classified. Ayivele sesiqalile ke.
What's up, everybody? It's Classified Culture Podcast. Thank you very much for joining us. We're so excited to have you. But first, we'd like to thank you for finding our podcast worthy of your airtime, worthy of your data. So if you see these two guys and you're wondering, it's the first time that you're tuning in, what is going on? What is this all about?
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? What's up? We're back once again. Classified Culture Podcast. I'm here with my host, with the most, Big Fish.
Yeah.
What's up, my brother?
No, dude, like I was wondering if you're going to tell the listeners out there what it's all about. So imagine someone who just tuned in and is looking at this fat guy and this tiny guy and is like,
Tiny.
what the F is going on with this
I'm
two?
tiny.
But anyway, so our podcast is focusing on the economic, and social factors that are affecting our communities. We are solution oriented, with the purpose of uplifting our communities, of informing and educating. So guys, please, you are welcome, to engage with us by liking, subscribing, and going on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Supporting us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Welcome. The channel is, as we mentioned, Classified Culture Podcast. You can catch us on YouTube, also on Facebook, Twitter, and what else? TikTok.
We are on TikTok as well.
TikTok as well.
Yeah.
We welcome your engagement. And,
Yeah.
Interaction is very important.
Yeah.
It's another week. This week we're shooting episode 5. Very excited.
Yeah, dude, it's our 5th installment.
Yeah.
And we're so excited, guys. According to the documents, at Foreign Affairs, apparently, lives like in that happy right? And we'll be driving through, but I will not be doing it alone. I'll be doing with the Wuho Mashilo.
Yeah, Tebs Mashilo, guys, you know how it is.
Nah, get the Wuho Mashilo. Tebs ayayin.
Nah, I'm Tebs, bro.
No, dude, with the Wuho. I tell you the Wuho, like, why are people always changing their names? Like, seriously?
No.
I've never called myself Fistos.
No, you're Big Fish.
No, but
on the podcast.
No,
Big Fish.
but like my ID doesn't say Big Fish.
We don't care about your ID. We know.
No, dude, like not about the engine number. Engine number I got ere tapelo. Sfiso kunele.
We're not here to.
Yeah, how ere te wuho. I ne kita wuho ya e. Kita wuho mashilo.
No, kita wuho. You see, and I've been warning you about saying
No.
wrong.
And there's no master pronunciation.
No, it's not pronunciation. It's GO, so you can't tell it and say.
Yeah, but that's so to GO.
Yeah,
it's
HO. Well, it's a different thing.
But like we speak.
On top work ID, so let's keep it that way.
So anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. We're so excited.
Yes,
it's our 5th installment. Thank you very much for supporting us, and we're seeing the numbers they are increasing, guys, and we're so excited.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Lena, I believe that the podcast is doing quite well. Everybody's supporting well. Our engagement, our topics, our content. It's something that people really love and interact with. So as much as we've pushed so far until doing this today's episode, which is episode 5, which I'm really excited about today's topic.
Yeah.
I just to start off, like, because we've been like having like a bit of issues in terms of recording.
Yeah.
I wonder why maybe people are wondering like why we took time, so.
No, I doubt that people are wondering because they are. No, but we've been engaging people on social media. So
no, I'm saying about
hardcore fans.
About uploading. Remember we had that thing where we uploaded every week.
Yeah.
So I had some people asking me, I think it was like last week, and they're like, hey man,
Yeah. Yeah.
we haven't seen anything on YouTube. What's going on? Like,
Yeah.
guys,
No, for those people that are curious, please remember to follow us on all social media platforms, because we do definitely engage with you guys there.
Yeah, so my brother, how are you generally?
No, dude, I'm good. There's nothing to write home about. But if there's anything that I need to speak about, I will speak about the things that have been making the headlines over the last two weeks, right? I think the first one being the Bafana Bafana. I think Bafana Bafana they represented us well, although some people they felt like they should have won. But if we look at our journey, dude, 14 years ago, I think they've pretty much done well. I mean, their third position, they won a bronze. They did well. And then we saw there was a player, Odalamba Bafana Bafana. I think his name is Teboho Mokoena. The guy said that he loved Julius Malema. Then Julius Malema is his favorite president, and he was trending on Twitter. So people felt like that was not the platform for him to say that. But I mean, like, our constitution, dude, like, protects us for freedom of expression. You know what I mean? So I don't know why people were saying all those things to him. You know what I mean? But anyway, other than that, dude, there's this group or this political party which has just recently being registered. Well, I'm not sure. We just need to look at the IEC, profile.
Yeah.
Those guys, they want Western Cape to be independent.
I've heard about that.
It's a bunch of white guys.
Yeah,
They want Cape independence. So Western Cape, since it were out of South Africa, and I'm like, isn't that insensitive?
It is.
Considering the fact that we are only like 30 years into democracy, and we haven't received any reparations, any apology. In fact, if anything, de Klerk said that apology when he was about to die.
Yeah, no.
And now we have to deal with people that want to take us back to 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, to tell us about you, dude. How was your week?
My week was quite busy, man. I don't know. I'm having busy weeks this week. Like actually this year, let me not say like this year. I'm just having busy weeks. I'm trying to get a couple of things in order. Hopefully everything goes well, and yeah, man, I'm just like, just busy, man. But besides, I haven't had time to even check, socials and stuff. So
yeah.
But yeah, I know. But the podcast is something that I really do enjoy.
At least you're making time for us, eh?
Yeah, man. I mean, this platform is, for me, it's sort of like a safe space.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I can view out my point of view.
Thank you very much, Dr. Phil.
Yeah, so it's something that I enjoy, and it's also interacting.
Therapeutic.
Yeah, also interacting with you outside of the podcast.
Yeah, but we fight a lot though.
Yeah, it happens, but I mean,
yeah, no, like we really do, but then all for good intentions, right?
Exactly.
So that we can bring people, quality show, and certainly we will do that today. But right now we looked at but other than what you have said, is there anything that you want to share with the guys?
Just I don't know, like let's just keep growing the podcast, let's put in the work that we always do.
Yeah.
I think everyone is present, but also, let's just uplift our skills, and yeah, hopefully we'll get where we wanna get.
Do you wanna share anything personal?
Personal wise, nah, I rather no, I rather not.
Including the stuff that I know. Can I share your stuff with the people?
No, I rather it.
But why? I mean, like, it's.
I rather it, honestly.
But what if I want to? But what if people want to know?
Then me and you gonna have a fight after this.
All right, guys. This I'm going to share with you, ne? So I'm kidding. Anyway, guys, let's take a look at the Gauteng townships, so that we can just shout out to them for supporting us, and just an indication that, guys, we see you. And then we appreciate your support. I will start with Attridgeville.
Attridgeville.
Yeah.
I think we've said some of them before. It's gonna sound.
No, like we just want to get done with Gauteng because like our home.
I guess there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Tembisa,
Temba, Soshanguve,
Slovo.
Slovo conscious guy.
I don't know. Siko guys Slovo. Siko Soweto, right? So we need to mention Soweto.
Okay.
Eldorado
Park.
Lens. Like most of my colleagues, Lens. They always say like they stay go Joburg South. Lidula kwa Lens. Hauna Joburg South, Lidula
It is in
Lazy,
the south,
yeah.
though,
But so it is in the south as well.
Yeah,
So
but-
imagine all of us if we have to choose a geographical location where we stand. Like I live in the north. Okay, guys, if you stay in the south, I stay in southern western township.
yeah, that's basically the acronym. Yeah, so it.
But that we've never, picked up the townships in Ekurhuleni, and these guys are gonna be very angry at us. And also at Mkhali City. I know Ekurhuleni we've got Botogoza, we've got Daviton, and then Mkhali City, we've got Bo Kagiso, Bolerato, anything else that you can think of.
Leratong, Tsepisong, I not get it.
What about Val?
Yeah, Van der Bay.
Let's continue to do. What are we doing today? What is going on?
Today's topic is one that I think every person out there can relate to. Every entrepreneur out there can relate to. Every person that is, within the vicinities of a township can relate to. And today's topic, guys, is township economy. Yeah, which is like a topic that I feel is very important in this podcast and a discussion there too. So
if everybody's watching this podcast for the first time, right? I will urge you guys to go back and watch our previous episode, because on our first episode, we spoke about foreign owned shops.
Yes.
Right, and we subsequently spoke about black business people.
Yeah.
Right?
That was the second one.
That was the second one. So the purpose of this podcast, as we said on our introduction, is just to uplift our communities. But we're gonna through that through conversations and being critical on our current social issues that we have in our communities. And hence today we are discussing township economy. We thought that one of the solutions that we have for the current social and economic issues that we have is entrepreneurship. So we need to look at township economy.
100%. I feel like it builds so much into the culture.
Yeah.
That is found in our townships, because I mean it's visible everywhere you go. The people obviously will get into what the type of businesses that you can find. Yeah, but can you just give them brief description of what township economy is?
So I guess people might ask themselves, what?
Yeah, because it's a topic that is never spoken about.
No.
But we see it,
and there's no extensive research,
exactly.
On it, as well. So there's little, literature which has been written about it. So for people that are wondering out there, what is township economy? The first thing is township economy refers to all those enterprises and markets that are based on the townships. And these are enterprises operated by township entrepreneurs to meet primarily the needs, of the township communities, and therefore can be understood as township, enterprises, which is different, from the entrepreneurs that are, operating outside the townships. So now out
of that description that you just mentioned, I think the most important thing is that when it said to meet the needs of the township community.
Absolutely.
So I think that's just the essence of what township economy is.
When I look at this, when I need your help here, dude. When I look at this, definition, there's three components that I want us, to unpack.
Okay.
Number one, it says it refers to enterprises that are based on the township. That's number one. So it needs to be based inside the township. That's number one component. The second component is that they need to be operated by township entrepreneurs. Right? That's the second. And then the third element, to this definition, is that it needs to meet the primary needs of the communities in that particular vicinity where the enterprises, is operating from.
Yes, sir.
So I want us to explore this, right? So if you are saying that, this definition consists of this, three components, then what if the entrepreneurs are based in the township, but, their products do not meet, the primary needs of the consumers? Then does it still qualify as township economy? What if two elements are absent or only one element is present? Does this still stands as the definition of township economy, or will that enterprise be a township economy if it lacks two components from this definition?
No, I think it definitely would still qualify as something that is is township economy,
Mm.
based on the fact that those three components that you just mentioned, if one is lacking, well, the other two are present, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, the first things I think when the last part of that, it says
Mm.
it needs to be operated within
Yeah.
the township.
What if it operates outside the township?
It's no longer township, classified as township economy.
So we're going to rely on the
It's going in the mainstream now, Pella.
formal.
Formal.
Yeah.
You know, it can be informal, but now it's going in the mainstream of business.
I hear you.
You
So
understand?
like you're saying that the third element, of this definition is the most important one.
Yeah.
Because it speaks about where the enterprise actually operates from.
I think even the name, the topic itself, when it says township economy,
Yeah.
something that comes into your mind as well. This must be something that's generated from the townships, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a type of economy that generates from the townships. It's people within the townships
Yeah.
that are trading. It's enterprises that operate within the townships.
Yeah.
And obviously, the communities that are in the townships, those are the ones that are benefiting from the township entrepreneurs, the enterprises that they run. And so that's why I say, if one of the elements
It's absent.
is absent, it
Yeah.
still would qualify
Yeah.
as a township economy.
So what if, do we care, who operates these businesses or these enterprises? It can be anyone. Can it be like large enterprises? It can be a foreign owned, or should it be the people that were actually born or living in the township? Do we care about that?
Well, that one is quite, I think it's a topic that is quite broad, because obviously right now, when we look at our township economy, it has foreign, it has people from the townships, it's got big corporations.
Yeah.
So it's something.
It's a holistic.
It's a holistic.
As long as it can benefit the economy within the township.
True.
So it can therefore, qualify
But then
as township economy.
when you speak about that as well, about who can operate in townships and who can have the enterprises there as well.
Yeah.
I think this is where we're gonna get into the types of businesses.
Yeah.
Or the sectors of businesses that actually exist within the townships.
Yeah.
Well, we do have firstly the formal sector.
Yeah.
And we do have the informal sector.
Tell us about the formal sector.
I think that do you want me to explain the formal sector?
Yeah, please explain the formal sector.
The formal sector is basically businesses that are part of South Africa's economy, but obviously they include formal businesses that they pay taxes and are regulated. And these ones include like your registered VAT vendors, and they could be anything from grocery stores, restaurants, petrol stations, banks, insurance companies, or more. But as long as the business follows the necessary legal requirements,
it's regulated.
It's regulated. So it's basically recognized as a formal business that contributes to the economy.
Yeah.
Of course, there is a larger extent to that. But when you look at businesses that operate in townships, those are classified as formal sector businesses,
Yeah.
Or
Well,
as we can say.
Well, I think like the township economy within our communities, they can be classified into two, as you rightfully said. First one is the formal sector, which you rightfully say, which is regulated. And the following one is the informal sector. So the informal sector is part of the economy that is not taxed or monitored by the government. Informal businesses are run by people who are not employed in the formal sector, and many local and solo entrepreneurs make up the informal sector. So if you're looking at the formal sector, it contributes so much to the country's economy as far as employment is concerned. Because remember, like our formal sector cannot absorb so many people. It becomes the lifeline. So for those people that cannot make it into the formal sector,
100%.
so now they are able to actually create employment within the informal sector. But the informal sector is not empowered.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So
no.
and it's the reason why we are discussing this today, because we're trying to establish, if the township, if you invest in the township economy, perhaps those social ills that we deal with, we can find a resolution for that.
But also, I do want to pose a question.
Yeah.
When we speak about the informal sector, right? It's unregulated. We know that.
Yeah.
And it's like a ubiquitous thing that it's found everywhere, So when we speak about helping do you think it will ever like stop or say like maybe cease to stop because of, you know, maybe if they had, you know, financial aid and to, don't you think like informal enterprises are there for a reason and they serve a purpose?
Certainly they do serve a purpose, and they are there for a reason. I mean, one of the advantages, of informal sector is that, those enterprises are very easy, to start.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And they don't require, a lot of capital in order for someone to start like an informal, business.
And the availability
Yeah.
of their consumers
Yeah.
having to consume
There's
their
no-
products or
yeah.
services
Yeah.
is quite something that you'd understand. Okay,
Yeah.
if that did not exist, then I think we do have a list right now about
Yeah.
of the informal sectors that we wanna share with our audience, right? So I'd just like you to just go through the list and then we'll discuss how the impact that we
Yeah.
talking about affordability and all of that.
So obviously, with regards to the informal sector, your question is actually very valid, dude, because you must remember that most of the people that work in the informal sector, they earn less than the threshold which is required for income tax.
Yes.
So therefore, they cannot pay tax. They're not regulated. In fact, the earnings for informal sector employees are less than that of the formal sector. And according to the Stats SA, the median income for workers in the formal sector is about 2,000 rand per month, compared to the 4,200 rand in the formal sector. So the self-employed, workers, particularly men, earn more than 6,700 per month, which is still below the threshold for income tax as per SARS.
Yeah.
So we can understand why the informal sector will not stop, because it's very easy, it's very convenient, and it's also net regulated.
And it also gives opportunities to people who don't have the necessary means of saying, because when I did our research, it also pointed out to the fact that 17% of employment equity is from township economy.
Absolutely
You
correct.
understand?
Yeah.
So that for me is something that we should like look at. Of course, we need measures to, uplift it or try to maybe make it in a better space. But as I said, like if you were to mention the informal sector businesses that are run in our townships, then you might get an idea of what kind of businesses are there and in what way do they help our ordinary township I would say clients or communities.
Yeah. So if anyone is thinking about, investing into the informal, sector, there are a couple of businesses that are very popular and they're making money. That is an opportunity for us, as the township to invest in, and just to diversify. And one of which is spaza shops.
Spaza shops,
Yeah.
definitely put it in every corner.
But it's not easy to start a spaza shop.
It's not easy
Yeah.
because now we are. I'm gonna go back to our first episode.
Yeah.
We are dealing
Yeah.
with a lot of foreigners taking ownership of those spaza shops.
Listen to these stats. Around 150 billion in cash is spent at the estimated 150,000 spaza shops every year.
Damn.
And that contributes as much as 5.2% to South Africa's GDP and employs about 2.6 million people. So there is a lot of money which is being made out of it. And this is an opportunity, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For townships. But it's a very complicated, market, for your average, township guy, to invest in or to get it in the first place.
100%.
Why is that?
No, like I said, like if we're gonna go back to our first episode, you remember when we discussed foreign nationals, and most of the shops that are that they or most of the businesses or enterprises that they have, it's puzzle shops.
Yeah.
Mainly their focus is that.
Yeah.
So I think those are one of the challenges that, our local.
But is the challenge the fact that most of our township, spaza shops are being owned by foreigners, or our challenge is that they're not employing so many of our domestic people? What is the challenge? Is it the part of this spaza that's being owned by foreign shops, or is the fact that they're not employing enough, guys that are unemployed from the townships?
No, I think it's the first one, the foreign nationals, because remember when we had that talk on our first episode.
Yeah.
We mentioned, how they succeed compared to, people who owned spaza shops back then, which were obviously people from the townships. We spoke about their business plan, their business modules, the way they bulk up their stores, so that on its own is for me something that I feel it's a big challenge for them.
Yeah.
Having to compete with them.
But when you speak about township economy, the vibrant township economy that everyone wants to invest in at the moment,
Yeah.
does it matter who are the people who are at the helm of those spaza shops? Or what should matter in terms of our economy should be the people that are being employed. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I don't know the owner of ShopRite, where that guy is from. I don't know the owner of the company that I work for, is from. But if they can invest in South Africa, they can get people, employed, then they do contribute to the economy of South Africa.
So then,
my question again is, does it matter who the owners of these spaza shops are, or for as long as they invest within our townships and they employ our people?
Then remember,
yeah,
it's gonna come back to what I said. Or now, if we wanna take the informal enterprises and make them something else, then now they turn into a formal thing.
Yeah.
A formal enterprise. So a spaza shop is basically something that's unregulated. You can run it alone. You can run it with your family.
No, please don't do that.
What?
Running with your family.
I'm just saying, well,
but you are right.
There has been success, of people,
absolutely,
generations.
I actually know so many families, that have done well,
yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying, then if we wanna say now, let's put, investments into something, then now it's gonna have regulations. So it's gonna have requirements.
Yeah.
So then it becomes a formal thing.
I wanna make an example. Say you take Lehlohonolo is from Lesotho, who has business acumen, is very talented, is very educated.
Yeah.
He wants to establish, a business, in South Africa. He wants to own a spaza Kotlab Spirit extension too.
Yeah.
And then that guy, manages to do that, and then he employs, 10 people, and then he pays them maybe 4,000.
But let's look at.
You know what I mean?
Okay, I like what you're thinking. But when we talk about these puzzle shops in our townships, first of all, the infrastructure is not that great. So it's not usually a place where you could have 10 people working there. Okay,
let's say let's say 2 people.
2 is also a lot considering running a puzzle shop.
Well, what if it's in a busy area? Think about Vilakazi Street. You know what I mean?
Okay, well,
think about Vilakazi Street.
Okay, well, look.
Obviously, because of the demand and the tourists that are coming into that place, think of all the busiest.
Yeah, 2 people could do.
Yeah,
but 10 is a lot, man.
Yeah. Okay, let's take 2 people. So this particular person, because remember, economy does not only have to do with the people that you employ. There's distributions there. There's so many things that are happening there. In order for our economy to go into the next level, as far as township economy is concerned. So if we have this particular person who's from Lesotho, but he manages to employ and to partner, with South African, small companies to either distribute, to work for him, and all those things, isn't that particular enterprise contributing to township economy, regardless of whether who owns it?
No, I understand. I understand what you're saying exactly, but as I'm saying, spaza shops are quite a small thing, it's just for basic necessities that we need.
But according to the stats, you see how many people they're employing and the turnover.
True.
It's quite huge.
I think it's been pulled from, the vast of South Africa, it's not just mainly on a population of maybe one province, or a certain. It's the vast, I think.
Do you have an opportunity with the spaza shops to make them, more formal, more regulated, so that, as you put it, they can employ more than 2 people and perhaps even 10 people?
Well, it's difficult to do that in townships because we have now formal businesses that are coming in. We're talking about your retailers. You find them everywhere. So it's quite difficult, I think, for one to break through that space and want to formalize that. And again, spaza shops are there for the convenience of, they're just here in front of you. So it's close proximities that you are able to go and purchase something and get back in the house and do whatever that you want to do with the product that you just purchased. So for me, well, it's necessary to have spaza shops. It's necessary to have retail shops.
So you think that there's no opportunity, for the spaza shops, to grow, I think, beyond what they have, at the moment?
They would grow if
Because as you rightfully said, I mean, township economy contributes like 17, percent, which is like it's a lot of people.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
And especially taking into consideration the status of South Africa at the moment. I mean, we've got more than 35% of the, especially young people, that are unemployed. So why don't we just put our investment, our monies, and everything into this township economy, especially spaza shops? Perhaps we can address the issue of unemployment.
I'm not denying what you're saying.
Yeah.
Shani. All I'm saying is, once you start putting like investment in something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The investors,
Mm.
right? They'll come in,
Yeah.
invest,
Yeah.
but also remember what will happen after that.
Mm.
There'll be regulations
Yeah.
put in place. There'll be requirements put in place.
Mm.
They'll look for their return on investment.
Mm.
So now it's no longer something that, yes, you're saying
Mm-hmm.
this is your spaza shop.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, well, I have a certain percentage on that.
Mm-hmm.
I want things to be done this way.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So that's what I'm saying. For spaza shops to exist in the way that they're doing in the townships,
Yeah.
for me, it's quite great. And it's something that I grew up
Yeah.
knowing, there's spaza shops
Mm-hmm.
and they help, with necessities that I needed.
Yeah.
And they're convenient.
Yeah.
You know.
So like there's something profound which you've mentioned about this big enterprises
Mm-hmm.
making their inroads within the township economy. Because there is an article that I actually read from News 24, which was about township economy, and it says testimony to its potential, big retailers are seeking to tap into the township economy with big brands such as Pick and Pay, Checkers, and MRP, emulating the spaza shop model by offering smaller format stores constructed from shipping containers in a bid to get closer to where its shoppers live.
Yeah.
So something which you have said, before, that we see that the big corporate, players are also coming into the township, and investing, and obviously because they've got resources, it's a bit of an unfair, advantage, for them, because these guys, this spaza shops, they've got nothing, on Pick and Pay.
It's resources, it's reputation, it's advertisement, it's a lot that you can think about that, would make them to be a bit more successful than, typical spaza shops that you find in your townships, So it's something I feel that it's a gap that they've seen. It's a gap that they're taking advantage of. So again, it falls in the formal sector. We still need spaza shops.
But then if these people are going to offer, the same kind of, product and services that are being offered, by these spaza shops, and they're also convenient, and they also operate within our vicinity, then obviously because of, their resources, they're going to have like an advantage.
100%.
Yeah.
100%,
Because chances are, if you go to a ShopRite or Pick and Pay, which is convenient to you, you are guaranteed that you're going to get everything there. You're guaranteed about the pricing, you're guaranteed about the quality.
As I said, 100%.
And you can also use technology, electronic payments, not cash.
True.
Yeah.
You can also get deliveries as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. But is it fair for these, big corporate companies, to sort of want to monopolize, this industry without giving other players, a chance to develop and to grow?
I don't think it's monopolizing per se.
Yeah.
But remember, there's a market for everything, as I said. With a spaza shop, there is a market that's linked to, finding your stuff in close proximities, and interacting the same way. But then when you talk about the disadvantages of spaza shops, like electronic payments, we don't find them, some other products that they're selling, you wouldn't find them in the spaza shops,
Yeah.
So it's more convenient. I think they saw a market, and rather for people to go out of the townships and go to places that, like, your malls and stuff, they've found a gap to bring this closer. And in a way, like, it's working, because I mean, when you look around, there's every retail shop you can think about in
Absolutely.
townships.
And
So-
yet there's still space, for us to go and support those spaza shops.
Exactly my point.
I think I guess convenience come into play here.
Yes.
Let's talk about the street hawkers.
The street hawkers.
I would describe those as survivalist business,
Yeah, 100%.
because they don't have any opportunities for growth or to employ people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically food on the table,
Yeah.
and we respect what they're doing. I mean,
Absolutely.
shout out to them
Yeah.
because you know it's convenience again. You're on the road, they're there.
Yeah.
You go outside the mall, they're there. So shout out to that.
Is there an opportunity to develop, to diversify here, or it's very stagnant? They cannot make any movements.
I think it's a free market for them.
Yeah.
It's a very,
So
very
it
free
works for
market.
them. So they shouldn't even be
No.
thinking about formalizing
No one,
or growth.
no one will kill it. No one will kill, because you find hawkers like in like traffic lights, and they there, and like make it convenient for you, like
Yeah.
everywhere, like
Yeah.
so they're everywhere, not just in
So you
township.
think, the street hawker, they should not be tough.
Nah, let them do
They
it.
are survivalists.
They do it the best.
Yeah.
And, we appreciate their
Let's talk about the backrooms rentals. Now, this is a big business.
backroom rentals. Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
This contributes a lot.
But there's two, and
Yeah.
I just want to say that
Mm.
there's a formal side to it,
Absolutely.
and there's an informal side to it.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah. So
Yeah, because when we're speaking about the formalized part of it, not necessarily, backroom rentals, but I think property, because there's so many, development which has been done, especially for the students.
yeah,
what I mean?
people like now students are the go-to area, like
Yeah.
in terms of developing property and making monetary value out of it. Although that's what I'm saying, that's a formalized side of it.
Mm.
Student accommodations,
Mm.
you find now people like people buy a house,
Mm.
right, and then turn that into like rentals,
Mm.
so then it's like, well, that's something to look forward to. And then also
Yeah.
you have your informal settlement, backroom rentals, and
Yo.
now we're talking about people, let's say it's a house,
Mm.
and then they'll have like 7 to 6 shacks there,
Yeah. Or rooms.
or rooms.
Yeah.
But mostly shacks,
Yeah.
because I don't know why people
Not
do
where,
that,
where not
but
where I grew up. When
you are
they
lying.
give me
You are lying.
Nama kule sithi
You are
give me-
lying.
Like,
Stop lying.
like this guy was a guy, guys.
Lying. We were passing by his hood last time.
Which
last
hood?
week. My page.
Don't lie.
Ah, God, this guy.
Anyway, let's continue with the conversation. But
Yeah.
no lies, please.
Townships.
Yeah.
It's very, very rare and so little. I think now it's starting to pick up where people now are starting to build proper rooms. Build a bathroom for their tenants. But
And honest and obviously the reason why there's so much demand, for this, back rooms is because of a lot of people that are moving into Gauteng.
100%.
People wanna move closer, to the cities where they work.
Because of
and
work.
because of urbanization as well. So that's why you see that there is a lot of demand. And in South Africa, we know we've got an issue of limited land. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, if you want the proper property like Body Townhouse or Sentin to the north, it's very expensive.
They're quite expensive.
You know what I mean? And then we understand like the income, in South Africa, according to the races, is very, different. And it's very difficult as well. So people, in most instances, they want to pay what they can afford, and hence there is this huge market, for the township, rentals.
Yeah, man. I think they too are there to stay, and they help feed families. You could find, that no one is a breadwinner, but there is space to build. So, but one thing I've seen, right? I'm not sure how. But I don't want to say anything because I'm not 100% sure.
Please don't.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
one thing I've seen now is that they are entities now that they'll go find let's say you have a yard, it's a big yard.
Yeah.
They'll come in there. They'll tell you that they'll build for you,
Mm.
and then they'll tell you that after like a certain period of time,
Yeah. Yeah.
then you'll have those rentals for like.
Yeah. I've heard about.
Have you heard about that?
And that has been happening.
What do you think? What do you think about? I think that's ridiculous, man.
I think it's ridiculous as well because it's just indebting people.
Exactly.
Because that means that now sometimes it's a
And now you're taking advantage of people who are disadvantaged,
What if you lose your job?
And people are in a position whereby, like, obviously
Yeah.
they need that income. So But man, that's something else.
But you know, at the same time, people are allowed. I mean, South Africa is operating, you know, in a capitalist, you know, way. You know, I assume. So
That's
people want to make money, and these enterprises they also want to make money. Then, if you want to make money, if there's you know gaps that exist within a certain market, you need to take advantage of those. And I guess that's what they are doing.
But man, for me, I find it a bit like
Yeah. But you know, like
it's not good. It's not a good thing. I mean, it's just taking advantage of people who don't have.
yeah, no, I agree with you. But consistent with what our podcast is all about, which is to uplift, you know, our communities, which is to deal, you know, with the social ills that we have within our communities, still on the backrooms rentals, dude. Do you think that there is an opportunity, you know, for a lay person, for an average person like me and yourself, who is unemployed? You know, first of all, we have to deal with the issues of capital. Number two, we have to deal with the issue of the land. Where do we get the land? So the only people that can actually invest still, you know, in this type of investments are people that are privileged, people that are working, people that have this, you know, properties.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, big fish. Because as I'm saying, like when you touch on the issue of land, it's something that I think it hits home,
Yeah.
especially for black people.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. These background rentals, man, they're a huge part of income,
Yeah.
but also when you speak about privilege,
Yeah.
then those are the people that eat more. Those are the people at the top of the food chain.
But for someone who, you know, earns like an average, you know, South Africa, according to our benchmarks in South Africa, you know, they are permanent at work. Would you advise them to invest, you know, into, you know, back rooms, you know, rentals? Would you do that? Because I mean, they earn a salary, they can take up a loan at the bank.
I think looking at it from that perspective,
Yeah.
I think it would be.
Think about someone who's just retired, someone who's been retrenched, someone who lost their job and they're about to be, you know, paid their pension or their provident fund. Would you say that they can invest into this and, you know?
I would say yes, but I'd also tell them to, do a bit of research. Yes.
Yeah.
And just speak to other property owners, find out what the challenges are, because some people can, rip you off when you're trying to do that. So find that they use cheap materials to build.
Absolutely.
And then now, people get hurt. And also look at, these things when they talk about health,
the health hazards.
And all those such things. You need something that you need to look at. Of
Yeah.
course, those things are formalized.
You know, to hire proper, you know, engineers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we also have informal back rooms. And
Yeah.
people live there, people grow up there, some are conceived there, but
Wow. Yep. Some are conceived there.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's my advice. Basically, that's what I would tell someone who has maybe probably received a lump sum or something like that.
Let's talk about Shebeens.
Shebeens.
If there's, you know, one of those businesses that so many South African entrepreneurs, I mean, the ones that originate from South Africa, they've invested in.
Yeah,
It has to be this one.
this one, man.
Almost in every street there is a Shebeen. Focus.
This one is quite scary, bro. Cause like when you say that, like Big Fish, this one, like Eddie Shebeens, like dude, like it's something that it's so crazy when you talk about them and the informality of the enterprises, I know.
Yeah,
Because
but I assume that one needs to get like a license, a liquor license, trading license.
we all know.
Those are formalities. Those are regulations.
We all know.
Do you think that guys don't do that?
I'm saying
Yeah.
they are establishments,
Yeah.
that
Like Bokonka.
yeah, well,
Feel like as a street, tavern.
I wouldn't call them Shebeens, those places.
Oh well, well, as far as we are concerned, there is a Shebeen that go Hyde Park.
Hyde Park?
Yeah.
Where?
You must ask the former CEO ya Eskom. We like go Shebeen go Hyde Park, dude. So whenever you think there's no Shebeens, go Soweto. There's a Shebeen go Hyde Park.
No, I'm not saying that there are no Shebeens.
You must ask Mr. Mulefe, dude.
I'm saying the places you just mentioned. I don't like put them as as Shebbeens per se, you understand? No, they're clubs.
Okay. Well, I
So
get your point there.
yeah, so Shebbeens are like you mentioned, like every street, especially like in like those townships that have like a rich history, like like Soweto, like Alex and stuff like that, and it's every street you'd find like 3 to 4 Shebbeens.
Yeah.
Every household, like, and bruh, people
But what
are filling those places.
what is it about our township entrepreneurs that it is so easy for them to invest and start up these shippings?
Well,
Because if you look at every other businesses within the townships,
yeah,
like the spaza shops, which we have rightfully mentioned, I mean, they're not being owned by a township entrepreneurs. But if there is something that we own as the township entrepreneurs, perhaps because of the demand for it,
I was about to mention
it's shibins, and they're all over the place, and it seems like everyone is making profit.
it is. It's a business that really thrives on. I would say, I don't want to put it that way, but at some point it is. People's problems. I'm not saying they are responsible for them. People have got a lot going on in their lives, and they tend to take substance, which is alcohol, as some form of getaway. So that's why you find that Shebbeens are actually excelling more in terms of informal enterprises in our townships.
Yeah, and it's not like in the past. Remember, in the past, people, we used to have like, extramural activities. Like some people played soccer, some people they went to clubhouses for singing, for dances. We no longer have those, social things anymore. So most of the people, when they want to entertain themselves, they go the alcohol route.
Yeah, man.
And perhaps that's why we got so many shippings that are operating within our townships.
And they make a lot of profit, as you say. I mean,
Yeah.
Hence I'm saying, if you find a street with like 4 Shebbeens and they're all packed, that should say a lot. That should definitely tell you a lot about, I guess as well, the moral compass of our society.
But let's look at the moral compass versus, the business opportunity.
Of course, if I was a businessman, I would like operate a Shebbeen because I mean, hey.
But does it work for us? Taking a look at this dichotomy that we have.
I guess it does, man.
Yeah,
it does work. It does.
So never mind. Alcoholism. Never mind morality. As long as people are making businesses, let's all open Shebbeens. Is that what you're saying?
All I'm saying is, if I want to feed my family and I feel like a target market is a Shebbeen.
Yeah, but Bebo, you are an individual. We are talking about a group of people.
Listen,
this is Township Economy. This is Classified Culture Podcast, where we're looking at a community of people, not individual people.
Yeah, but look, I'm serving the community.
Yeah,
by supplying alcohol.
Serving the community by getting them drunk.
Dude, I'm making money, dude.
So you're only thinking about yourself.
And I'm making a convenience for them so that
they get alcohol.
Yeah. Either way, if I don't sell it, then someone else will.
Yeah. But we're talking about a group. That's why I'm saying that we need to look at the morality of it versus the business side of it.
So which one favors first then for you?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you, dude.
Nah, dude, it's the business.
Where do we bridge the gap here?
It's the business side, bro. Like,
because I feel like
I think morals have just been put aside when it comes to Shebbeens.
But one thing affect the other.
It does. At some point, it does.
Especially with the social ills that we have, in South Africa.
At some point, it does.
And perhaps the question that we need to ask as well is, why are entrepreneurs not diversifying? Why are we only focused on like Shebbeens and fast food?
Because that's the thing that's thriving in the market and the townships. We cannot deny that.
So we cannot be good in any other thing.
Not saying we cannot be good.
Then why are we not investing?
It comes back to economics. When there's demand, then there needs to be supply, right?
But also there needs to be innovation. There needs to be creativity. There needs to be new markets.
I'm not saying they're not new markets.
Yeah, then we should be able to differentiate ourselves so that we can attract.
But look at taverns. Taverns, or let me say Shebbeens, they operate for longer hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. People spend most of their time there. They spend most of their money there.
Yeah.
So, then is it the owner's problem that
But where is innovation there if everyone owns a shebeen?
dude,
How-
it's
how-
entrepreneurial ownership, that's how I'd see it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
because as an entrepreneur,
but what does
you
it have
find
to
a
say?
market, then you utilize that market to work on
What does it say about our future in entrepreneurs?
Well, that's
What
another
what does
discussion.
it say about technology?
That's another discussion.
What does it say about creativity and innovation
That's a
leading to the
discussion.
fourth industrial revolution?
That's another discussion.
So do you think that this is sustainable?
It is. I mean, it's even getting like the increase in the number of people that are owning shebeens it's increasing every day if you
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. If you see every shebeen in one street and it's all packed, that should tell you something.
Okay, but perhaps that speaks so much about the demand, which is directly linked to the moral compass within our society.
100%.
Looking at the broader, economy of the townships, right? Do you think that this is sustainable?
It is sustainable.
And I want to give a background tip, because as we've rightfully mentioned, that most of our sponsor shops are being owned by foreign people. Not only that, but even if you check at our townships, most of the hardwares that you find here still are not being owned by our township entrepreneurs. Hence, I'm asking, why must we all be saturated in these shebeens? What is stopping us from being able to diversify and investing into other ventures that we are not necessarily investing in?
Well, it's a lack of, I would say like personal development.
Yeah.
From individuals.
Mm.
We all have problems, granted. But then if alcohol is your getaway, then there's nothing wrong with someone selling alcohol.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
But there's everything wrong when everyone sells alcohol.
And is there something wrong when everyone wants alcohol?
There's something wrong with that, because now everyone is a consumer of alcohol. There are so many things that we can consume than alcohol.
So then, who is to blame then? Hence, I spoke about personal development within an individual. If an individual finds that alcohol is their getaway, instead of thinking of how they should deal with their own problems, and probably perhaps find a solution to not, be an alcoholic, then it's something else.
If there's one thing that I respect, is your opinion, dude, and you know how much I value your opinion. And now I want us to discuss, dude. I know like we are limited in terms of time, but what are the actual challenges in many of our entrepreneurs being able to diversify? I know I mentioned like hardwares. I mentioned the mechanics, and well, we haven't got there yet, but mechanics and panel beaters, which is our next topic. Why are we not able to enter into those fields? Why are we not being able to grow and diversify to those markets?
Well,
is it an issue of education? Is it an issue of ignorance? Is it an issue of that we are previously disadvantaged? Is it an issue of skills?
Well, I think we are gonna touch on after this section, okay? We're gonna touch on those challenges.
Yeah.
And I think that would be the perfect time for me to answer that question for you.
Okay, so you think that we should move?
Yeah, well, let's move. And then let's hold it. Let's hold it for now. Yeah. And when we get there, I'll definitely answer that question.
And still speaking about scarce skills within our townships, and then we've got mechanics and panel beaters. But when I grew up, most of the mechanics and panel beaters, were the guy from next door, the guys that I knew. But then now we know that the dynamics of the mechanics and panel beaters within our township is no longer that one.
Exactly.
What happened?
Everything changes, bro. It's more of like people, especially in the townships. I don't want to say, but I'll put it that way, man, because foreign nationals have come in and they can do the work and they charge less. So it's almost like they've
eradicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Sebali.
It's a 400. You want to get on erectile? Get a dysfunction?
Yeah, they've eradicated.
Yeah, okay, erectile dysfunction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it almost like puts, pressure.
Yeah.
Especially on pricing, and as well as the diversification that you say, because these guys can operate whether they have a workshop or not. You know, we see it.
But I can challenge that, dude. And the way in which I can
Okay.
challenge, your theory, I partly agree with it. But remember our education systems, right? After 1994, there was a time whereby, the minister back then of education, they got rid of, colleges, of, technical, colleges where people could go there,
Learn a
and
skill.
learn about, skills, artisans, building mechanics and all those kind of things. Don't you think that has played a role? And also, perhaps you don't have an interest, in those fields anymore, like the older generations of the 80s, 70s. I mean, like how many people that that were born in the 2000s and the 80s that actually possesses the skills? I don't know anyone within my circle,
It
certainly.
could be that
Yeah.
that narrative that was pushed was, education is the key, but then it comes to certain careers, the ones that people perceive that they have higher income gaps,
Absolutely.
yeah. So in that sense, I believe then what you're saying could have played a huge role in terms of a decline in mechanics and panel beaters.
And then we know, like, the issue that I'm trying to run away from, dude. I know that we've got an issue of our borders, and etc. You know what I mean? But the issue that I'm trying to avoid, it's for us, blaming, foreign nationals.
No, I'm not blaming.
No, I'm not saying you, in particular, but generally all of us, we need to run away. Of course, we can admit, we can acknowledge, our current situations, right? But also we need to look at ourselves and say that do we possess enough skills? Because if you look at South Africa, South Africa thrives, based on, minerals. And Gauteng in particular, it thrives because of gold, the discovery of gold. And who are the people that mostly worked, when gold was discovered? Who were the people doing the labor at that time? It was this, foreign nationals. If you talk about the Southern African region, the Zimbabweans, the Mozambicans, these guys have been here for decades. Because of the discovery of gold, they've worked on our minds, they've got families, you know what I mean? So it is not fair for us to, blame them on everything, because fair enough, we can speak about, of the issue of, our borders, immigration laws, which are not being implemented. But we also need to take a look at ourselves and reflect and say that, are we skilled, as a community?
No, I get your point.
Yeah.
Get your point. But we're not blaming anyone. You
Yeah.
know, it's what we see, it's what we experience every day as citizens. So to a large extent, it's the reality that we're facing.
There was a simple question: why do we have so many Mozambicans, running the mechanics and the panel beaters more than our own? Why?
It could be skill, hence I said.
Yeah.
And the thing that you just said about colleges, not having these younger people are not now looking at, I'd say, being artisans, learning a skill that requires you to use hands. Now they're looking at intellectual skills,
Yeah.
Being like accountants, medical professionals,
Yeah.
So that on its own has been pushed to a point whereby these type of skills are no longer seen as a priority, as a need. I mean, if you can go right now, I mean, our education department, when you just saw when the recent class of matric
results,
23, when they spoke about the scarce skills, they never put this type of skills there. So it's really something that I feel it's an issue, and that we need to look at, and it starts with acquiring those skills, and also making sure that young people understand that there is a need, for them to do this kind of.
And talking about the need, right? As we're going to close this chapter of mechanics and panel beaters, with the rise, of the middle class people in South Africa.
Yes.
Clearly, we know that many people are purchasing, cars, and people, will continue, to buy cars because there is a need for that, and the South African infrastructure allows for that as well. So there's clearly there is a demand, for mechanics and panel beaters. But the only thing that we need to, there's a gap that exists. But our youth or the unemployed, are they prepared to go and attain the skills?
That's another question. That's a very, very
do you think they're ready?
Tough question.
Man, that's
according to me, right? Yeah. According to me, in my opinion, I don't think that they're ready, because, as I said, the narrative has been pushed on, these skills that require like you get a degree, you go do your articles, you go do whatever, and, but these type of skills are not pushed in so much. I mean, right now, if I were to ask you if I want someone like to say, okay, I want to learn mechanics and penal beating, where would you recommend them to go?
Freedom Park.
Freedom Park.
Yeah, because that's where you get a lot of them. Like Freedom
No,
Park.
I'm saying in terms of like a formal education.
Well, in terms of formal education, probably I'll say go to Vondla, which is like an adult, education center.
Do they offer these type of courses?
Well, they better be offering those courses.
you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Though? Do you see what I
So
mean?
we're not educated. We don't even know where to go to. But obviously, that we cannot outsource that. It's our responsibility to go out there and research. If you've got a passion about something, you know what I mean, and if you think certain skills, are lacking, you know what I mean, scarce skills, then it is your chance. It is your responsibility to go out there and find which higher institutions that you can go to in order for you to further and attain those skills. You know what I mean? So it's an individual's responsibility. You cannot outsource that to anyone.
100%.
So it's our responsibility. Let's look at the barber and hair salons. By the way, dude, your card is dope. Who did it?
No, I did it. I did it. An informal, barber, but yeah.
Well, name that person, dude. Let's market this.
I'm not pretty sure if they'd like me to name them.
Who?
I should have asked when I told them to subscribe, but
okay.
yeah,
Anyway,
I'll do that next time.
The guy or the barber was responsible for Tebu. Big ups to you, dude. I don't know what's your name. I feel like Tebu should just say your name, but
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I'm just respecting.
also you don't know his name.
I do know his.
So it could be.
No, I do know his name, but I'm just saying.
Happen.
Nah.
All right.
I just don't think he'd feel comfortable without me having a conversation with him first.
Right.
But I'll definitely pop him up and yeah. But yeah, when you talk about barbers and hair salons, bro, like again, it's
the beauty industry.
It's
in its entirety. It is a big deal at the moment,
especially in townships. Let me say this: in townships, it's mostly 100% informal.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah.
Because anything formal that you get of a barber or a hair salon, you find in the shopping centers, like malls and stuff. But anything outside that,
and I feel like there is more that we can do, within this, barber and hair salons. You know what I mean? Because I feel like everyone is doing the same thing. We know that we've got issues in terms of infrastructure, but I think there is an opportunity in terms of innovation and creativity, dude. And people are not taking advantages of that. I mean,
how so do you mean?
No, for example, like everyone has a shack or a room, and then they cut people's hair, and dude, like have a massage equipment there, have the TV playing music, something, dude.
But then you just spoke about infrastructure, so
innovative.
If right now the tools I have is me building that shack, and having, let's say, head clippers, then I have my skill to cut hair.
Yeah, but then you need to think about your customers. You need to think about what will set you apart from any other hair salons or a barber. You know what I mean? And that's where you need to think about innovation, about creativity, which is going to bring customers to you. It's going to take more than your skill, because clearly everyone else has the same skill as yourself. But how are you going to differentiate yourself? I think that's where innovation and creativity comes in. And most of the barbers that I know, they're not doing that.
But most when you check, it's the same thing, right? Yes, you say that checks, but if you're gonna upgrade, like, you need proper infrastructure. Then the prices would need to be up as well.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's business growth.
And you're competing with people, let's say 10 people charging the same price, and yours is slightly a bit high.
But you're offering more than those people.
Then people are gonna go.
That's how you differentiate yourself.
I remember we're in the townships here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when we're in the township stable, I think like innovation, is very important, because that's what will set you apart from everyone else. Because now you're doing something that other people don't.
Big fish. Hence I said, when you find like those former barbers and hair salons, those are found in places that like shopping centers, places that are well built. They have proper infrastructure.
Yeah.
They're regulated in in a way that I don't know how they regulate
So the very
the beauty.
guy example. So now I once went to go White City, ne? And then I was just looking for a barber or a place to cut my hair. You know what I mean? And then so I went to this particular place, and then they cut my hair. The price is, pretty much standard. You know what I mean? And what they did after that, there was like a machine by like, and it felt so good. It's like a massage, something, dude. And I wanted to go there the following day.
So
Because like I
okay,
experienced a
here's
certain
another question. Here's a question.
It's not even about that, but it can be anything else.
After that experience, no, that's a question. too.
Yeah.
After that experience, you did. I'm pretty sure that you did go to a barber or by it was informal and you cut your hair there.
Yeah. Well, I did, but I still prefer that one though because I had to go
Sometimes,
there. And in fact, my son, that's where I recommended my son to go to because I felt
sometimes-
like what sets a business apart from either brand is the customer experience. The
sometimes
customer experience is very.
I understand that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, customer experience and but sometimes it when people think and when we spoke about uplifting township economy, sometimes when you go to a barber and stuff, it's like saying this guy doesn't have so many customers. Let me just go there and help by them cutting my hair and providing a service.
Yeah.
So that at least he gets something to put on the table today. So that's for me is something that is great that people are doing. By supporting these informal barbers, whether it's a shack or what, we need them to also succeed. And by succeeding means even if they get 3 customers a day.
But we cannot be stagnant. We part of a global business environment which is continually changing.
Yeah, but
we need to take advantage of the opportunities that come in technology. You know what I mean?
technology will always be there.
Advantage of the latest trends.
But not everyone will
this-
be able to reach those standards.
These businesses, they do not function in isolation. They are part of a broader growing, and a very vibrant, dynamic, business environment.
But
Which consistently, changes. The only constant is change.
If I go cut my hair to someone who's never had maybe a day that only had 2 customers, and I come as the third, and now they can be able to go buy something to eat to feed their family, then I've made a change.
But we're talking about township economy here. We're talking about growth. We're talking about something that many people they can benefit from. We're talking about the whole supply, chain.
Listen, as I said, even from that definition that we had earlier on when we started, right? It said primarily to meet the needs of the community, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So, in that sense, when one goes to a barber, first you're meeting the need, right? Because you need a service. They're providing a service, right? In terms of whether formal and informal, there'll always be a gap. And in our townships, it's granted, there'll always be a larger space where informal businesses will have the majority of
the customers.
The customers and as well as
market,
the entrepreneur space, because that's how it is, it will always be there.
Yeah, dude, I understand that. But what if the level of customer experience that you can provide, to your current clientele can be in such a way that there won't be a need for me to go to the formal sector to establish, barbers or hair salons.
But how many of them can say that, let me try to, put technology in this. Let me try to give my customers a better experience.
Why?
But then
if
remember,
not many of them, then why?
When we spoke about how
why are we comfortable with being stagnant? Why are we comfortable with not wanting to grow?
Listen, it's the state of the economy, bro. A lot of people are not working, bro.
But surely, if you're going to, I know so many people that are talented, including the one that did your hair, by the way. Clearly, he is talented. But why don't they have an appetite to diversify? Why don't they have an appetite, for innovation? Why don't they have an appetite to grow?
They do. It's just there's so many challenges that they face.
And just being
stop saying people are comfortable, bro.
Well, dude, clearly by what you are saying, people are comfortable, because I'll tell you what is not comfortable.
Okay, look,
You know what I mean?
you go
Not being
to a
comfortable-
place like Mtswaledi, right?
Yeah.
Many of the barbers and hair salons, they are what? They're built with shacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to upgrade from that, first of all, you can see the place. It's like, well, it's in informal settlement.
Mm-hmm.
How do you expect a barber there or hair salon to have the infrastructure to build something that's going to be customer satisfaction according to the standards that you want to put on them?
Well, I can challenge you. What if it's not Motswale? What if it's our hood? What if it's Deep Cliff Extension? What if it's Orlando? What if it's Steps? What if it's Steps Play? You know what I mean?
That's a different.
Yeah, dude. But then if you're gonna take a
Those
population,
are the babs that's always.
no, dude. But if you wanna take, a population, or you wanna take a sample, it needs to be representative of Soweto, as the largest, township, for the benefit of this conversation.
Yeah, but
And then when you're talking about informal, settlement, they're not representative, of the population, in Soweto. No, we know that. There's more, houses.
100%, right,
They don't
100%.
represent.
But
those informal settlements, they do not represent.
what kind of business would you expect in an informal settlement?
I would expect a business that want to grow. I would expect a business that want to compete. That wants to diversify.
Let's
You know what I
be
mean?
real,
I think that is very important. If you speak about
Let's be real.
township economy, if you speak about the high levels of unemployment,
Let's be real, bro.
dude, I am real. I just made an example of the hair salon that I went to there, go White Seat.
Yeah, White City is not informal. Like
Yeah, well, it was informal.
it
No,
was.
but-
See,
No. It was certainly, I agree.
yes.
It was an informal business.
So how do you
but-
expect
but
a
the
place like
service-
Mtswaledi to
But the
say,
thing is that they
yeah, they do have that thing, that machine that massaged your head? They don't, unfortunately.
So,
they
but
don't.
if you want to sustain this business,
I mean, even if you check the pricings, it's affordable for the people who live there.
but
And
then if you want to grow these industries, these businesses, if you want them to contribute to the
Not ev-
bigger,
not-
to the broader township
not
economy,
every business is
Don't you
gonna
think-
grow in that sense. There are some that are still gonna
but
stay
do you think
informal,
that we should
and
have-
they'll be comfortable, not comfortable, but they'll because of the social economic status of wherever that they live in, they'll always be like that, and they serve a purpose in the communities
Those
that
that
they
have-
live in.
those that have been doing it for more than 5-10 years, don't you think there is an opportunity for them to be innovative? Don't you think there is an opportunity for them to grow? Because each and every business, each and every
I'm
corporate,
not saying there's
large,
opportunity.
whether it's a law firm, whether it's an accounting firm, they all have to start somewhere.
Yeah, but
So we need to have an appetite for growth. We cannot be
Fifi,
just comfortable.
no, you can't say people are comfortable while you see people living in informal settlement.
Dude, business has to start somewhere.
Yes.
All the big businesses
So
that
how do you expect
that
someone
today,
who
they
lives
have
in
to
a
start
shack
somewhere.
and they cut their hair in a shack, and then now suddenly you expect them to build?
No, I find a fault in that. So you think that the people that live in informal settlements are not ambitious?
No, I'm not saying
They
they're not
cannot think
ambitious.
independently.
I'm not
they
saying
cannot
that-
run successful business.
No, I'm not saying they're not
So
ambitious.
what are you saying?
I'm saying that they understand the needs of the communities that they live within. Hence, I spoke about the pricing.
Yeah,
Yeah, they understand the needs of the communities
but
that
they can do more.
If-
That's why I begin to talk about being.
How can you do
being-
more
being-
in
being-
people who don't even have
being
an income?
You need to introduce new things to people. You need to introduce new things to the
With
market.
what income?
How you
With
inti-
what income?
That table, if you're going to differentiate yourself, you're going to be creative. At the moment, there won't be a need for me to go to Mapunya Mall because I know that everything. Even if
Yeah, because
even if you
your-
operate
your
an
mood-
informal business,
Where you live now, it's not an informal settlement. It's quite okay. People work.
but
You can't say when you go around during the day at noon and you see a lot of people packed in the streets. That clearly tells you something. A lot of people are not employed. And then when you come to a hood during the day and then it's empty.
So are you saying that here we need to be hopeless?
No, I'm not saying let's be
We
hopeless.
should not be ambitious.
Let's understand the needs
It-
of our people first.
We clearly understand the needs of the people. Hence, we're discussing this topic. But we also have to
but then
discuss.
we cannot say people are comfortable with being having a
No,
barber in a shack for 5 years. No,
I
it's
gave
not
you.
comfortability.
I gave you a background and I gave you a context that yes, indeed, we cannot be comfortable. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I feel like there is an opportunity for us to diversify. There is an opportunity for us to attract other
Okay.
markets.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
We
yeah.
cannot just be
Yes.
confined
Well, how would
in one
how would
places.
you
We need to be ambitious and we need to diversify.
no how
and
would
grow.
you tell a Baba's to come to a lady to say, guys, this is how I think you should grow?
What the question should be, what would I say to the barbers in general? I don't know why you keep on making
Yeah,
an example
because
of
I'm trying to show you.
Mozzarella is just a small portion. Yeah. So it's not even a
lot
quarter.
of informal
It's not even a quarter.
How to keep down and tell them that.
When we're talking about informal enterprises, we're not referring to informal settlements. There's a huge difference there.
No, because we're now you're speaking about growth, right?
Yeah.
And your growth entails of people need to have better jobs in order to pay for those services, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, but then the people that
you need to be living in a hood that people
if-
are working.
if we
So
agree-
most people that live in informal settlement, they don't work.
if we agree that there is a demand for these services, so for someone who can afford to go, what if that person akathola the same services more kasi madulante?
Well, it
That's
depends.
why I began to
That's
speak
what I
about
said,
innovation.
yeah.
And sometimes innovation, it does not cost much. It just
does.
wants people to
It
think.
does. It does. It does
No,
require.
not
It
all
does
the
require.
time.
It does
Dude,
require capital. It does require.
With the technology that we have today, dude, not everything. Yes, money is important, but not everything. It's about money. So people can be innovative, can be creative without that.
Also,
Dude, customer
if you say
satisfaction,
without money,
customer satisfaction, customer experiences, those little things, they do not cost money.
they do cost money.
Customer satisfaction.
Yes.
How does it cost money? Just to be nice, just to communicate well.
So you're saying
just to let
people,
people-
so you're
just to
saying
let
those
people
people are not communicating
just-
nice?
No, dude. Like you must just address the context that I'm speaking from. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is that there needs to be innovation. You know what I mean? I'm not.
You speak about innovation and customer satisfaction.
I know.
I'm saying those things require money.
Those are not the only two things that I spoke about. I spoke about diversification. I spoke about growth and entering new markets.
It requires
Being
capital.
able to break, and I'm saying that we can do that even without capital. The small things that we can do that just require one to be innovative and to be creative, and we're not doing that.
How? I'm asking you again.
Well,
how?
I've answered you over and over and over again.
And I'm telling you, they need capital.
You don't need any capital to be able to communicate efficiently, for you to be able to advertise yourself, using digital media.
How?
You don't need capital for that.
How?
Dude, everyone has access.
Advertising requires capital.
No, dude, like Facebook, you don't need like capital. These guys, they got access.
You know that.
Not to Facebook.
You know that very
Nah, dude, we don't.
You know that very well.
Anyway, I don't wanna spend too much time on this subject of Baba and hair salon. Still, we will agree to disagree on this one. So we just move over and talk about the minibus and the taxi operators. And while we are at this topic, Debbie, I feel like we also need to address the e-hailing services such as like the Ubers.
Yeah.
And on all those guys. But firstly, let's talk about the minibus and taxi operators. Do you think that they've got a role to play within our communities as far as the township economy is concerned?
No, 100%. Bro. I mean, minibus taxi operators, they play a huge role getting people to and from work. They help in terms of the public transport services. So they're very important. I feel in the township economy because they're getting out, and
Yeah, can I get something, guys?
at least you didn't say.
Yeah, no, continue.
Yeah, so it's
Sydney, can I get something very quickly, please?
it's something that helps the township economy in a very vast scale,
Something nice, dude. Like I kind of appeared camera with that cloth.
because
Like seriously.
some of our entrepreneurs travel. Let's say someone is selling to different location to where they live, so obviously you use minibus taxis.
But who is gaining here? Is it? And I'm gonna say this, right? We obviously, like, I don't want to contradict myself, but is it Toyota who's gaining,
or because of many
or is it like the actual taxi owners and drivers that are gaining in this instance? Who gains more into this sector?
I think both
Yeah.
both the dealerships and the owners as well. Yeah, I think they do gain.
So do you think like it's equal?
Obviously
There's a share for everyone?
Toyota is the manufacturer of these cars, and they provide the cars. Then then obviously the minibus taxi owners, they turn that into business.
What are the opportunities for growth, and how do they contribute to the GDP? How do they contribute to the township economy, taking into consideration that obviously some they operate informally and they're not paying tax?
They're not paying tax.
Yeah, some are not every taxi owner pays tax.
So
Dude, like I'm sure that thing that is all over the news. I mean, it's public knowledge. It's something that we all know. I don't know, Tebo, if you've ever met, a taxi owner who has, a tax consultant or an accountant that they file their taxes or they reconcile,
so you
taxes
mean
each and every, year or mid-year. I've never seen that. The majority of them, it's public knowledge that they don't pay tax. Something that you are aware of as well. I'm surprised that you are posing this question about something that you already know.
I'm posing it because, well, they are running an informal business, right? I mean, taxi operations are informal, first of all.
Yeah.
So when you speak about them not filing and stuff like that, then that is something that is required out of a formal enterprise, right?
Well, some of them are not running, informal. They're running formal enterprises.
Also, which ones in a minibus taxi operations?
I mean, they do. To like think about the people that transport, the workers.
Okay,
There needs to be like some form of a formality, documents, exchange of documents.
Shuttle services.
Yeah, the shuttle, services. There needs to be some form of formality.
That 100%.
You know what I mean?
That 100%.
And I know even the people that transport, the children these days, there's contracts that are involved there. There's so much formality which has been, introduced. But now I'm speaking about, the taxi, owners and the taxi drivers. And I'm saying that when it comes to tax, we know that majority of them, they're not paying tax.
No, they're not. Obviously, it's an informal.
Obviously, it works towards, the advantage. But then the question then should be, are they contributing to the broader township economy? Are they contributing to the GDP? Are they creating an employment? And if so, then how?
100%. I mean, they hire a lot of the drivers because most of them, like, they, especially with the big like owners like that have like a fleet of say 50 or something taxis, so they do create employment for young guys that want to be drivers, so they do contribute to the GDP of the country, because without them people wouldn't get to work, because most of the people that use public transport, they go to work. So
they do contribute
a lot. Yes. So I feel like that
in terms of taking people from one place to the other, so that people can also contribute towards the economic activities, especially the people that work.
That's why you see when there's a taxi strike,
it's a shutdown.
Like, you understand?
But at least if we speak about the shutdown and we speak about economy, we also need to mention the trains, dude. Like,
Trains?
I don't know what happens to that infrastructure, because it's just
don't talk about
not.
Metro rail is like literally dead right now.
But why are we comfortable to accept that?
Who are you gonna question, bro? Like right now, who are you gonna question? Because remember, after during the lockdown, right?
Yeah.
2020. After that,
most of the infrastructure, it was destroyed.
It was destroyed.
Yeah.
There was looting that happened.
Yeah.
You remember?
And we know so many people, from our townships, that work, they depended, on those trains, from move to one place to other, because they were affordable, they were convenient. But we don't have that anymore.
Who's relevant that you asked?
I guess the government. How about the government?
100%. Pose a question right now.
How about the Department of Transport?
You can pose a question. Here's a platform.
All right. I'm sure they are listening. So there's something that I want to address again, right? Especially with school transport. Now, parents, please, if you guys have a contract, or if you guys have a debt or Edgar's or whichever store, if you guys have got a mortgage bond, you need to make sure, in order for you to stay in that house, that you pay bond. Now, guys, you need to understand that these people that are driving your kids from home to school and back, they also have, their lives. They also have people to take care of. So please, guys, please pay them on time with no excuses. Do not negotiate, please. Because I find that so many parents, dude, they don't give any respect or any regard, for this, because they always come with excuses. Even if I'm out December, they'll say no. Just because when I got some fella for 1 week or 2 weeks, so therefore I will not pay the whole amount, or things like that. Or no, I'll start paying in February because January is a short month. No, guys, that's not how it works. These people are making a living out of that. So as much as you are, respecting those banks, those banks that you've got bonds from, that you've got paying every month the cards for, please also respect us. Pay us shelter because that money is our income as well.
Oh, Konja forgot. You're one of the.
No, dude.
Nah, you just said us. I forgot. That reminded me.
No, it's not even about me.
No,
but you understand where I'm coming
for
from.
everyone.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is very valid. But
Yeah, because think about it.
You provide a service. You expect to get your income.
So think about it this way, David. So in the absence of this person, who's taking your kid, from home to school and back, you would have paid the taxi drivers, because the taxi drivers, dude, or the bus drivers.
Taxi without paying a taxi fare.
No, don't.
100%.
Don't. So why do you
put some respect? Put some respect on our.
Yeah. So let's get back to childcare service. I think it's our last one. This one.
Oh yeah, childcare services. But for me, this one, it's something that I feel that it plays a huge role, in our townships and our big fish, you understand? So much so that, a lot of, what do you call this, early childhood developments, some of them are formal, like you have, like, the, what do you call this? What's this famous early childhood that's mostly found in townships? Ashers. Yeah. And then it goes to, like, you have your informal ones, like, you find a group of, okay, well, those ones you could say, they have a problem, and most people complain about whether these people are qualified to look after kids or not. But at the end of the day, they do play a huge role in helping parents, especially the ones that can afford, or probably that have like infants to look after them. Say for people that live in backroom rentals, right? So let's say a mom, has like a childhood service, like a crash. So they run it in their house, they look after infants, and people take their kids there. It comes to this question where people will tell you, do you trust these people?
It's a valid question, because as much as we can talk about the economic advantages of it, but we need to get back into reality. First of all, if someone is going to look after a children, because remember, children, they've got so many needs, and then with the
100%.
low levels of literacy and numeracy within our communities, I assume that this child caregivers, they need to be educated.
You see, that's the thing.
They need to be able,
You see, when you went there,
educate our kids.
that's the thing that I said.
Yeah.
People pose questions on that.
Yeah.
All right. Granted, I say that. Not everyone is qualified to look after kids, right? And you say kids are different. They have special needs. Some of them, it's they don't catch up, as quickly as some.
Yeah.
So, but for a parent, like I just give an example. You live in a backroom rental. Let's say you live with just your spouse or your partner. You have a child, and you both work. So you don't know anyone, around the area that you trust enough to leave your child with. But here's Mam Kiza or Mam Kumeta or Mang.
And I assume at that time, you don't care whether Mam Kiza is educated. You don't care whether you don't have references of Mam Kize. You don't care at that time.
Not that you don't care.
If Mam Kize, can be able to take care of your child. Perhaps when I say that case to extreme, perhaps the way that I'm actually looking for is you don't give too much
consideration
and regard to those kind of things, because at that time, obviously, you also want to work for your child. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And all that you're looking for at the time is that
security.
I know my child will be safe.
You're just looking for safety.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rather than me saying, because like I say, you don't have family around, you don't have friends, and you gotta put food on the table.
But isn't this an opportunity for this, child caregivers to actually go out there and find, education,
well,
find,
to some
skills that they
extent,
can bring back to the communities,
to some extent, and
and be trusted more, and you know what I mean. I'm sure this would help them to even develop, their businesses.
to some extent, I agree
Yeah.
with what you're saying, right? I think more especially when we speak about toddlers, when
Yeah.
the baby is starting to have that developmental stage, in terms of learning phonics, vocabulary and stuff like that, right? Yes, you do need professionals like, or let me not say professionals, like qualified people.
Yeah, people that are qualified that can actually do the
But-
job. Yeah.
For like infants, people still need like, to be changed diapers, to be fed. I do support, that notion that, or that kind of service that they do provide, because at the end of the day, we as parents, right, want the best for our children, right? Sometimes we cannot afford to give that, holistically. But in terms of what you're saying about giving them proper, qualified people as toddlers, 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
But for infants, well, I wouldn't put so much emphasis on
And
that.
by the way, the infants are the most sensitive ones. You know what I mean? So I would imagine that obviously if you're going to leave, your infant with someone else, it should be someone who's qualified, someone that you trust. You know what I mean?
Well, it does not necessarily want a qualification
Yeah.
for one to take of an infant.
But you need to have some form of
But it
reference.
requires love.
Yeah.
It requires passion.
But someone
It
who does not have,
requires
but someone who does not have
someone
an
with a good
experience
heart.
of taking care of children, obviously.
Yeah,
you
obviously,
want to know those things.
I wouldn't put someone who does my child with someone who doesn't
Well, that's where the
doesn't
qualification
have
enters.
kids. But if I
No. It's not even about whether or not you've got kids. There are so many people that don't have kids, but they are good when it comes to kids. They've looked after so many kids and they've done it so well efficiently.
I guess so.
Yeah.
In that case, obviously you'd want someone who's raised a kid or kids, and then that they know what kids or infants require, right? Then it's something that would give my heart, like some sort of calmness.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, okay, cool. But then when the baby comes to become like a toddler, then that's where I'd look for something.
Who's more qualified?
Yeah, like a formal place where I can take my kid.
What are the opportunities, in this sector? And how do they contribute towards, the broader township economy? And is there an opportunity for them to grow and expand?
100%. I
Yeah.
do agree. That one I do agree. The opportunities are there, but I think the lack of knowledge in terms, because most of the time it's not young people who want to take care of kids. It's usually the elderly.
Yeah, truth.
Yeah,
That's true.
so sometimes I think the lack of knowledge in terms of how do they get to be qualified,
Yeah.
or to say that this crash that they're running is to be registered according to what
Because they have to be registered. Yeah.
is, what type of material they need to be teaching the kids,
The kind of the
the
caliber of
nutrition,
teachers.
the nutrition that
Nutrition is very important.
you understand. So
It's
that
the money here, Dave. It's the money. Do people
say
make millions here? Do they make
I would say millions, but they do
People
make
can make a decent living from this.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do make a decent living out of this.
Would you open one?
Nah.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
I'm sure you're good. I've seen you with kids.
I would never listen. I would never take my child
Yeah.
and to go looked after by a man.
So not
I'm
look after your child.
Not an infant.
Why no, dude? Like
Guys lack patience, bruh.
that's a generalization.
No, it's 100%. You know that you're a father yourself.
But I don't like patience.
In infants, dude,
Nah.
when the baby cries, like it's like your mind just jams and it's like,
Yeah.
you don't know what's going on.
I think it's
But a
because
mother would know they're nurturing.
you know what, you are right, because with women I think it comes natural.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. With us it comes with a little bit of some effort that you need to put.
Yeah.
'Cause with women I feel like it's very inherent.
It's inherent.
Yeah.
It's a maternal thing.
Yeah.
Which it's naturally like that.
Yeah.
So guys don't have that.
Yeah.
Look at when maybe you you babysitted your kids when maybe they're still toddlers.
Yeah.
They do everything with you.
Yeah. So the level of our impatience is very low. The
Exactly.
level of our patience is very
So I wouldn't trust a man to look after my kid.
Yeah.
But I know a woman would be,
Yeah.
more fitting, and they would understand and probably have, ways that they deal with such things. If the baby's crying, if they've done, something naughty,
Yeah.
Because this man get pissed so much.
Now, before we wrap up our discussion, I want us to bring it home, man. The kind of within our township, obviously we always don't want to say the name of the township that we are operating from for obvious reasons.
100%.
But if you take a look at our township,
no,
the
still studio, bro. That's
that
in my culture podcast.
Think about it as a population.
Yeah.
You need to draw your sample from. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
As far as what we have discussed is concerned, and then if you look at the business ventures within our societies, would you say that most of them are shebeens? Because most of our spaza shops are being operated by foreigners, and most of our hardware is foreigners. Maybe garages are also owned by our local entrepreneurs. Yeah. So which enterprises would you say they're mostly being owned by a township entrepreneurs, and which ones would you say they mostly contribute towards the township economy in terms of contributing to the GDP, employment, and all of those things?
Well, I'd say the first one would be the minibus taxi operators. They're mostly owned by township owners and shebeens as well. I would like to say, and also put in backroom rentals.
Oh yes, it's a big one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also childcare services.
Especially with the foreign owned shops, I believe that the owners of these properties, they're making a huge money, more than they could get if you go and hire those places. I mean, that's for sure.
So yeah, they do play a huge role in our GDP. Hence I'm saying they do.
What about our spaza shop?
They do factor. Now spaza shops, like you just said, I mean, it's just for convenience. Yeah, I did.
How many do we have here, Kokas?
I don't know, 4 or 5.
In terms of the operating model, are they operating the same? Do you think there's
I don't know.
I mean, you should.
Why are you saying I should know? I don't know.
Dude, you've been there so many times, more than me.
What do you mean I've been there? Hey, this guy have a face.
You've been there more than me.
What do you mean? Maybe Signy has been there. I don't know.
All right. Okay. What about mechanics and panel beaters? Well, now we're looking at Kukasiaro. The most ones that I know are from Mozambique. Do you think that they do contribute? I guess maybe they do contribute because of people when they go there. I guess they pay less than they would in a formal garage.
100%.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, and then we spoke about child services as well, but then we've got a background about what we've been discussing. Obviously, we know this is linked to the purpose of this podcast, which is called classified fight culture podcast on YouTube, Facebook, as well as TikTok and Twitter. Please, guys, follow us. But then the basic message that we want to bring across is just we want to uplift our communities, and we feel that it's very important. And how are we going to do that? Is through honest conversation, is being critical to ourselves. As much as we can do it to the government, we can do it ourselves as well, so that we can find solutions. And we think that one of the solutions of the problems that we have identified, and we have throughout our first topics that we have discussed, identified that unemployment is a big issue, drugs is a big big issue, poverty is a big issue, and we think that entrepreneurship in the broader township economy is one of those things that can assist us so that we can overcome the problems that we have. So to all the young people, let's look at those scarce skills. They are very important. It's our duty. It's our responsibility as young people, to find, those higher, institutions, those learning institutions whereby we can learn those scarce skills and give back, to our communities. There's a lot of opportunities right there, because otherwise, all of these things, they're going to be occupied by foreign people. So to all the young people out there that listen to the show and they're unemployed, they are hopeless, and they think that, their future is bleak, please go and look at the scarce skills that we have in South Africa. And we've discussed about that we spoke about mechanics, that are being done by foreign people. We spoke about so many issues from our first episode. So now we are urging all the young people to go out there and search for those scarce skills. Artisans as well, those are one of the scarce skills that we have, that we have not discussed. Please go out and look at that. There's a demand for that. It just requires young people that are interested. Thank you very much. My name is Fistos, and it's a wrap for today's Stable Dude.
Guys, well, for me, I just want to give a shout out to, every young person that, is making an impact on their lives and, is taking ownership of their life through the professional development, the personal development, and also being part of the community and helping bridge the gaps that we see or that we experience on an everyday basis. So every entrepreneur out there, I want to say shout out every young person who's trying to better their lives, because at the end of the day, we are the future and the future must be bright, Let's stop saying the future is bright. It must be bright,